Greetings, pirates. The Straw Hats have encountered Dr. Vegapunk, who has explained the history of Ohara and how their preservation of their books that explain the Void Century were all well and okay in his head, with a lot of the other knowledge preserved on Elbath, the Island of Giants. And while the keeper of the Brain fruit is still a cautious being and a perfectionist to boot, he knows that he cannot trust the government because he knows too much, asking the Straw Hats to help him get off of Egghead, just as CP0, specifically Rob Lucci, have arrived, and thus Vegapunk has denied them access. How will they retaliate? And will Vegapunk survive the experience? Because CP0 doesn't have to take the Straw Hats down. They have 7 targets. Who will live? Who will die? Who will get punched square in the face? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, One Piece. Chapter 1068, A Genius's Dream, and we see Caesar and Judge beating each other up as they think of Vegapunk, who has that striped shirt. I remember someone commenting, it's just like, oh man, all that time Vegapunk was never in the striped shirt. He's in the striped shirt in the flashback, as I guess we see a young Judge and Caesar in the shadows behind Vegapunk looking on him. It's German 66's An Emotionless Excursion, Volume 25. Maz, the group to which they once belonged. I mean, do they just hate each other, or what is this fight about? That you have Pythagoras calling out from the studio saying, Cypherful, thank you for returning our Seraphim. Unit S-Bear is capable of returning on its own from there. Forgive the current treatment, but we are too busy at the moment. Give S-Bear the order to return and consider your mission complete. Your escort is appreciated. Meanwhile, on the boat, surrounded by the robotic sea beast, Rob Lucci doesn't say much, while Kaku says, now what kind of cold shoulder is that? But Lucci thinks to himself, has he figured us out? Kaku calls out, we've just finished a long voyage. The least you could do is let us relax on dry land with a cup of tea. Plus, it's cold out here. But Pythagoras says, Naval Base G-14 is nearby and can welcome you. Lucci gets on the dead man Mushi saying, is that Dr. Vegapunk? Pythagoras says, correct. Lucci questions, if I asked you about the Egghead disappearances, would you know what I mean? Pythagoras says, no. Who has disappeared? Lucci says, 2 months ago, a Cypherpole number 5 ship went missing. 1 month ago, it was CP7. And 2 weeks ago, it was CP8. Oh, snap! They've just been taking out Cypherpoles left, right, and center. Lucci says all the government ships that have visited Egghead in the past 2 months have failed to return from the trip. Why is that? Pythagoras says, is that true? According to our recollection, all of those ships left port from here. Ooh, smooth. But then Lilith gets on the radio saying, hey, what are you insinuating, huh? You think we've been messing with Cypherpole? Go to hell. Pythagoras says, Lilith, I know you're evil, but you shouldn't antagonize them. Lilith then says, I'll open the port right up so you can come and see for yourself. Pythagoras says, no, not that either. At any rate, we must ask you to leave. Oh, smooth. Rob Lucci simply says, I see. Message received. And Atori's goes, cool, Karo. And as the call hangs up, Kaku questions, what now, Lucci? Lucci says, prepare to leave the ship behind. The Cyberpole agents around them say, huh? Lucci says, we'll use Seraphim S-Bear's power to fly into the island. The moment we show any aggression, the Sea Beast weapons will devour the ship. The guys on board says, yes, sir. Wow. Just gonna sacrifice that ship, huh? Meanwhile, on the Grand Line, in the Kamabaka Queendom, Bartholomew Kuma is on the move. As the revolutionaries call out to him, Kuma, wait, get back here, you! Hey, Kuma, where are you going? And as Kuma continues to rip out the various different attachments that were plugged into him to get him back online, he then uses his paw powers to send himself flying. Oh, that had always kind of been a question. Can Kuma use his ability on himself? Apparently he can, as Dragon calls out for Kuma, who has vanished. And yeah, we rarely ever see Kuma use a ship, so there we go. Meanwhile, back on Egghead at the scrap heap, Luffy questions Vegapunk, saying, you want us to take you out of here? But why? Isn't this your lab? Vegapunk says, that's correct. I've been extracting every bit of research money I can from the government to carry out whatever experiments I fancy. Even now as we speak, my mind is overflowing with ideas, and even still I don't have time, the manpower or the funds to see them all to fruition. One day I hope to create my ideal world through science, a world in which energy is abundant, available, and free to everyone around the globe. Luffy, just picking his nose because he couldn't care less, says, huh. And Vegapunk shouts, guess that didn't land for you, did it? Luffy says, so you're gonna give everyone something? That's all he got out of the discussion. Jinbei says, the resources that we use to create energy are a constant source of war and squabbles between nations. Vegapunk says, precisely. Ah, how foolish mankind is. Just reach out and feel. Energy is right here and there and all around us. The world is positively brimming with it. If we can simply convert it into a kind of power that you can see and use, we would be eliminating one of the greatest causes of war in the world. Mark my words, science will one day reach that lofty realm. I still feel like he's talking about solar energy. And once again, Luffy is picking his nose, saying, oh. And Vegapunk says, no interest? Luffy says, well, it's good, really good of you to try to make everyone happy. I'm not interested in heroes, though. So why do you want to leave this place? Vegapunk says, yes, that's the issue. The harder I strive to find the energy I've been seeking, the closer I get to the power source that moved the machine soldier, the ancient energy that gave it strength. It's gotta be solar energy. It is a scientist's nature to want to peek at the answer. If I were to undo the veil wrapped around the forbidden history, what might I find underneath? In carrying on my friend's will, I find myself treading further into the depths of massive explosion off in the city. People cry out. Everyone looks towards the city in shock, as Vegapunk simply says, so as you can see, I've dug a bit too deep into the past, and now the government's going to get rid of me, just like they got rid of Ohara. They all cry out, what? And Vegapunk says, sounds like the commotion's being caused by CP0. Luffy questions Zero. And there they are, right in the heart of the city. Vegapunk explains, CP0 are the ones who act solely on the Celestial Dragon's orders. Luffy questions, why are they CP0? Don't you mean CP9? Jinbei says, they're above CP9. Whenever they're active, it's said that world-shaking events are about to occur. As Kaku's just looking around saying, get a gander at this future metropolis. What a lark. As the scientists of the city say, is that Cypher Pool? I thought they always wore black suit. Why didn't they come through the port like usual? Hey, did you hear? They're saying 2 sea beast weapons are destroyed near the shore. Does that mean they're intruders? Meanwhile, back in the Labo phase, Pythagoras says, Shaka, CP0's on the island. Shaka says, how did they get past the port? As Usopp cries out, yeah, they're here! And Nami says, ooh, I hate him. Go away, Rob Lucci. And Sanji's just protecting Robin like, nope. Pythagoras looks at the viewfinder, seeing the sea beast devouring the CP0 ship, saying the beasts are devouring their ship by the coast. It would seem they've refused our suggestion. I suspect that they use pawpaw fruit's power to reach the island. Shaka says, so they use S-Bear. Well, if they'd give up their ship for a chance to fight, they were clearly determined to get here one way or another. Evacuate the researchers and workers. Send Atlas back to the lab. Mobilize Seraphim's S-Snake, S-Hawk, and S-Shark. That's gotta be Bo Hancock and Mihawk. That's definitely them. And says, put Sentomaru in charge of them. Ooh, Sentomaru's gonna fight CP0. It's about time he shows up. Been wondering about that. Vegapunk says, so, if I pack up my belongings, my requests are a trip out to sea with you. Luffy says, you make it sound like we're going on a picnic, mister. And Jinbei says, you know that your disappearance would be an international scandal. But Luffy laughs and says, sure, why not? Your head looks funny. Oh god. So, Vegapunk for Straw Hat? And Chopper even says, that's your reasoning? As Vegapunk says, let's go on up then. This place will be a battlefield soon. I'd like you to take Bonnie up to the Labo phase above the cloud. Luffy says, oh sure, as Bonnie still passed out cold from the bugs. Vegapunk then just disappears and says, good, see you up there. Luffy cries out, what? He vanished, Mr. Appleman! And Jinbei just says, the future makes my head hurt. Meanwhile, the holographic dragon, that we know it's holographic, appears in front of CP0 as they cry out, "Look out, there's a giant monster! Ah!" Some of the soldiers shoot at it saying, "The bullets do nothing! The bullets, they do nothing!" As Kaku says, "I've always wanted to fight one of these. It's not meant to be down on this sea. It's a space monster." How would he know? Oh, whatever. And he goes flying up to it with a Tempest kick. As Stussy says, "That won't work. It's just a hologram." As his kick goes right through it. As Kaku says, "Mention that first." Lucci says, "You seem to know a lot about this place, Stussy." And Stussy simply says, "Of course, I haven't been here in ages." That's suspicious. Kaku then uses his moonwalk, skywalk, whatever, and says, "Well, since I'm already in the air, I might as well go above the clouds. If Vegapunk's anywhere, he's bound to be there." But Stussy talks to Lucci and says, "Do you see those two lines running across the cloud, Lucci?" Lucci says, "Yeah." Uh-oh. Oh no. As Kaku makes his way above the line, a grid forms and beeps and explodes in Kaku's face. And Stussy says, "If any enemy crosses those lines, it activates a laser beam." And you hear Kaku scream out. And Stussy says, "They call it the Frontier Dome. That's the defense system that surrounds the Labo phase." I've heard some people were saying that, Vegapunk just keeps his brain in some dome? That doesn't seem very safe. It's just like, dude, smartest guy in the world? Of course he has a defense system. As the CP agents cry out, "Oh no, Kaku!" And he hits the ground with a thwam. And Stussy just simply says, "The point is, don't take the world's greatest scientist lightly." While Lucci says, "You could have warned him first." Kaku goes racing up to Stussy, burnt to a crisp, saying, "You've got a heart of ice in there, Stussy." And Stussy simply says, "Tee-hee, but you're feeling warmed up now, aren't you?" Oh, I love this relationship. I love their relationship. While Atlas just comes thudding up to them like a bat out of hell, saying, "Who said you were allowed to be more violent than me on Egghead?" Lucci is, bewildered by the large girl going, as the people cry out, "There's Atlas!" And Stussy says, "Atlas, that's one of the Vegapunks." While Shaka gets in contact with Atlas and says, "Atlas, stop. You can't handle them." While Atlas is just winding up going ultra, mighty, power, and Lucci just transforms into his hybrid form and just Six King pistols right into Atlas's face. Oof. Oh no, poor kid. I like Atlas, don't kill her. As the people cry out, "No, Atlas!" And Kaku simply says, "Absolutely merciless." Ooh, Atlas's left eye cracks, the entirety of her face cracks, and it explodes. Oh no. The people cry out, Atlas! And they scream in terror. One of the people say, "Shaka's given an evacuation order. Everyone into the factory. We're under attack." Okay, she's still alive. As Atlas goes, well, she's definitely down for the count, as Lucci says, "You're still alive." Meanwhile, we see Luffy carrying Bonnie, saying, "Hurry, we gotta get up there in the vacuum rocket." But their trip takes them right in front of Lucci, who looks over in their direction, and like a Pokemon battle, Lucci and Luffy, their eyes meet, both with a "huh?" And Lucci says, "Straw Hat," while Luffy says, "Pigeon Guy." End of chapter. Oh, they're gonna throw down. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. People say that Lucci ain't got no chance, but dude, I am ready for this. I want to see what new skills he's gained. I think he should at least be capable of taking on Snake Man. That will be awesome. But Gear 5, no. But it would take him being strong enough to put Luffy into a situation where he has to go into Gear 5. But the thing is, with Gear 5, even that wasn't like beating Kaido easily. Like, Kaido pretty much walked into Luffy's fist there. Lucci, maybe it might be a little bit on par if he has Awakening or something like that. This could be an intense fight. I'm looking forward to it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think will come out on top? As if you have to ask. But, I mean, Lucci, Stussy, Kaku versus Luffy, Jinbei, Chopper could be some awesome stuff. But again, I'm interested to hear from you. But also remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.